let's talk about Only You.
Yeah, which was originally called Hannah's Prayer. Oh, this
Mm-hmm.
was, yeah.
Yes. So how did we write Hannah's Prayer? I think you found a chord that you liked and you played it.
Yeah.
And I opened the Bible and just started singing what was in there.
Yep.
in Samuel, in First Samuel.
We should have reached that.
First Samuel 2.
It's Hannah's Prayer in First Samuel. Okay.
I believe it's First Samuel 2.
Yes.
I'll double check while you're telling more about how it started.
The Magnificat. Yeah, so that's essentially what happened. It was just like, I think it was even after like I was fiddling around on the ukulele. I was just like, we should write pianos. I don't know exactly what prompted it, but yeah, that's essentially what happened. I was like, D sounds like a good chord. I'm gonna play D and just keep like, you know, making a simple chord progression. And we literally pulled it from the Bible, which sounds cool until you think about it for a couple of seconds, and we realized copyright.
Yes, the Bible is copywritten.
Yeah.
Certain versions are. I did learn a lot, again, the experiential. I learned a lot about public domain. Like King James is in public domain. There's another version that's written especially for like this type of project, for like just taking it. It's called the WEB. I forget, World something Bible. I forget what it stands for, but like it was written basically for artists who want to use the Bible.
Like us.
Yeah.
We used that? Did we know of this? No.
We didn't. I didn't know of it before. But we ended up just like wanting to redo it because, well, okay, so one day, my husband and I we were looking for a song to sing, like a worship song, because we had been going through kind of a hard time, and we were like, okay, all right, we're gonna get through this, and what is a song that we can sing at the end of this that like uplifts the Lord and just like kind of puts a stake in the ground? And I was like, Hannah's Prayer. And he's like, I like the song, but I don't usually talk about my horn being lifted high in the Lord, like day to day. So it's like a little bit unrelatable. So I was like, okay, fine. And so I went back to Ashley and I said, okay, we need to redo this.
Yeah.
We need to redo this song and make it so that people today can sing it and understand what they're actually singing.
Yeah.
And
and
not feel like a poser.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't have a horn at home. Like, sorry, I don't know. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it morphed into Only You.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So we tried to take kind of the essence of what Hannah was rejoicing about and how she was rejoicing in First Samuel 2. I looked it up. It is First Samuel 2. What she was saying there, and kind of bringing it more into modern day language. And Only You, the title Only You came as an afterthought, right?
Yeah, I think we had several versions of the title. And then we're just like, you know what? I think simple is good, and that's kind of what it became. So,
yeah.
Also fun fact, we performed the original version at BSF, at the last day of BSF. So that was fun because we were able to say like, hey, we studied this and we made a song about it. So that was like a fun way to kind of like give back. Homage, perhaps.
Yeah. And it was very well received too, which was encouraging.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're already on the last track.
Yeah.
Commission. Which is not sung, which is interesting. So as I mentioned earlier, like Hannah has a background in spoken word. And shout out, we're going to do a quick plug here for Hannah's EP Masterpiece, which has 2 spoken word pieces in it. So you can hear more of that. But I am not familiar with spoken word. I do want to dabble in it eventually, but my background is more in poetry. So this was a way for us to also explore that avenue of creativity. So
yeah. I think it's great that we were able to come from different backgrounds and agree on a message and not like cancel each other because we're different, but like push out the same message and push it forward. I think there's beauty in the differences. Yeah, I think it turned out well, and it really captured what we wanted to say in the project. Like you said, it took Hugh's kind of to a different level of just more explicit. What are we saying, and what is the action item here? What can we do to move forward? Yeah,
I
it kind
think
of came
one
full
thing,
circle.
that was kind of cool is like I don't even know if we had a prompt per se, but like using like, I think words or like creation or something like that. So we actually literally wrote them separately. Like it was just like, I think a very basic prompt, and then we wrote it. And then it was interesting because even as you hear it, like you can hear kind of the different influences. And with even like, I think there are certain points in Hannah's part where like you hear kind of these spoken word like traits, like the way kind of how the words kind of propel each other, versus with mine having a little bit like differently with how like poetry is read versus how spoken word is performed. But it was cool because not only were they read differently, but they were on different topics. But rather than, again, like Hannah saying, like being red to blue, it was just like different gradients, like different hues. I did not plan that, but just different takes on the same prompt. So that was really cool because it did end up meshing together really nicely. And yeah, that was cool because we literally wrote them separately and then threw them on a Google Doc and was like, here's what I did and here's what I did, and it worked.
Yeah. So this is a re-release. We actually had it out on Spotify for a little bit, and now we're re-releasing it on Bandcamp. But in that re-release process, we had to work in separate places because you moved to Tucson. And I'm still here in Peoria. So how was that for you?
I think it was fun, and it's really interesting because we're now in the age of a pandemic and COVID-19. So in general, everything has had to be virtual. So I think just on a like logistic or like skill base, it's really good that I think we got comfortable with like kind of having like deadlines, but then also like, okay, like, can you give me feedback on this, or can you give me feedback on this, and just being comfortable with that workflow, I think is the term. And I think too, it was because we were keeping in touch too, just like as friends. And then to have this project as well was really cool because it brought like, it's different if you're like friends with somebody, but then you're friends with someone and you're working on something together. So I think that was a cool dimension as well of working on this project while we're like not in the same place.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even the re-release comes at a unique time because there are a lot of questions about this. Okay, racial injustice. What can I do? What can I do to stand up for justice? What can I do? What's my part? And I think Commission talks about using whatever we're given to stand up and to speak out the things that God puts on our hearts to speak out. Because it can't start with us. It can't start with us like figuring something out or like using our own wisdom. Like, it has to come from God if it's going to succeed. So like listening to what God has for us to do and then doing it, whether it's a creative project, whether it's going and protesting, whether it's reading more, whether it's having conversations, like whatever it is, that you need to do, like do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think with that too, there's an aspect I think that this project started, I guess, to kind of be like a creative exercise for us, but then it was really cool because at one point it did become like personal, like
yeah.
like Hannah was kind of hinting at, like at first Scarlett was like, oh, I can write about Rahab, and then it kind of became personal. And even for me, I was like, oh, I could just like write a cute little song on the ukulele, and then it kind of became personal. So I think it's interesting in the way that like this has become something that is personal, but then also I think in that way can have that impact, and is also kind of why, like, you know, like if we've already done it, you know, why would we do it again? Why would we pick it up? And I think it's part of that is because like this was a fun but also like really meaningful project for both of us, and we did want it out there. But I think also because it is personal and there is a message there that, you know, can be helpful and hopefully encouraging to people. So it was like worth it, you know, sorting out like working on things and collaborating virtually. So
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I'm excited, and I hope people enjoy it.
yes.
Do you have any other projects that are out there that you want to talk about?
I've kind of like recently reached this point. I was actually watching a dance analysis video. Anyway, that's a different discussion. But where it was really interesting and it was very well done. And there was one line in the video that said something along the lines of like, as an artist, you define yourself by the bodies of work that you put out. And I realized for myself personally, I have not put any like body of work out since for 2 years. And I think when I realized that, it immediately made me like not uncomfortable, but I was like, it needs an update, which sounds weird because it sounds very like technical, but like I was like, I need an update because, you know, I've been playing with different things. I've also been trying my hand at producing, and, you know, 2 years have passed. Obviously, like different things have happened and whatnot. And so I'm hoping to be able to get out a little like collection of songs, because yeah, I don't know, I just feel like, because when I look at, you know, the last thing I put out, it was like 3 songs that I wrote during Iowa City. I'm like, it's good, but it's not not necessarily not relevant. It's good, but it's not me right now. But that's the only thing that's out, so I need to like refresh, update the model perhaps. So more to be coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see. I really want to, like, at least before September. That would be nice, but we'll see what happens. So,
Yeah.
how about you?
I have so many projects that are in process. Yeah, Ashley introduced me to Trello. And you should see my Trello board.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about every one of them. So I have to like reel it in and figure out what my biggest things are. But actually, I didn't even tell you this actually. I'm going into the studio tomorrow, into the Rock Solid studio, and I'm going to do a studio version. Yeah. I'm going to do a studio version of Guilty Walkin', so that I can do a music video.
Nice.
So I'm super excited about that. I'm working with a really great videographer, Justin Lane. He has agreed to help me with this, and I'm very, very excited about that. I'm also working on a children's book. Yeah, I don't know when that will come out, hopefully within the next couple of months, called Just Because We're Different. And it's basically, it's the story of an elephant trying to navigate a relationship with a giraffe. Like, should I be this giraffe's friend? He's different from me. how do I go about this? Do I need to change? Does he need to change? And just kind of that dynamic of meeting someone for the first time who's different from you, and overcoming the differences / enjoying the differences.
Exactly.
So kind of like what we're talking about here. But I think like racism isn't going to change overnight. And I don't know that it's going to change in this generation, but the more that we talk about how to navigate relationships, because that's what it is. Like, we need relationships with people. We don't need to see someone and automatically think that we know everything about them. We need to have a relationship with them, and the more that we can teach that to our kids, like the more that it'll change, and it'll be a lasting change, not just a fad, not just something that is like a current event, but lasting change. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Yeah. If you haven't taken hint, Hannah and I are just thrive off of projects, I guess. We can't ever not have like 3 things we're doing simultaneously.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, because every time we call, we're like, oh, so how's like project A, B, and C going?
Right.
Never just one. It's like, no, like, I know you're doing 3 things.
Right.
Now I'm also doing 3 things. That's just how we function, I guess.
Yeah.
So
sounds good.
Yeah. Any last thoughts about Red?
Yeah, go get Red. It's free on Bandcamp, or you can donate to our project A, B, or C if you purchase the project. If you want to contact us, my email address is hannahmwangimusic@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, Hannah Mwangi Music. And Ashley?
I usually just use social medias. I am under the moniker, the name Periwinkle. So periwinkle.music. You can contact me there. So go ahead and check out the music. Also on the Bandcamp page that we have Red on is Hannah's content, and where I assume Guilty Walkin' will be put up. So definitely do keep tabs on that, and I think both of us will be updating on our socials moving forward, because 2020, hopefully we'll have some more content from both of us.
Yes, it will.
So yes. So thank you for talking with me, spending this time to go over our slightly overdue project, but it's finally out, so we're good. Yeah. Alrighty. Bye.
Bye, guys.